So we have done solving quadratic inequalities in one of the earlier topics, but what we're going to look at now is how we can use the graph of a parabola to help us solve these. So sometimes we found it a bit confusing, like we could find the points that we were supposed to plot on the graph, then we didn't know whether x was supposed to be less than or greater than or in between, and that was a bit tricky. So we're going to look at this graphically and hopefully that'll clear it up. So when you're asked to solve a quadratic inequality like 6x squared plus 3x is less than 0, the first thing you need to do is factorize it as if it was 6x squared plus 3x equals 0, okay? So if you had that, then you would take out your common factor of 3x, which would leave you with 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. And we know that that only occurs when x is equal to 0 or 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, which means x is negative a half. Okay, so we know the 2 points where this parabola, this 6x squared plus 3x, should cross the axis. So what we do is we do ourselves a little sketch. Now, it doesn't have to be super accurate, okay? So mark in your intercepts and draw your parabola. So once you've got that, we say, well, we want to know when is this parabola less than 0. Okay, well, we know it's less than 0 under here. Okay, so what does that tell us about our x values? Well, we know that it's underneath the line y is equal to 0, or underneath the x-axis, when x is greater than negative a half or less than 0. And that's it. Alright, so pause your recording and have a go at the second one. X squared plus x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. So factorize, draw yourself your sketch, figure out what your x values are, and then come back and have a look at the answer. Alright, so hopefully your first step was to say, well, let's have a look at what happens when x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. And you should be able to factorize that to x plus 2, x minus 1. Now, if you can't do that, you need to go back and check out all those videos that we did on factorizing quadratics. This is why we did it, and if you need to brush up on it, then go back and do it now. Alright, so if we know that x plus 2, x minus 1 is equal to 0, then we know that x either has to equal negative 2 or 1. So then we draw our parabola with a small sketch. We know it crosses at negative 2 and at 1, and then you draw in your parabola shape. Again, we've got another happy face parabola because it's positive x squared, so a is greater than or equal to 0. Sorry, a is greater than 0. Now we want to know when is this quadratic greater than 0. So it means it's positive. It's positive in those two parts. So our solution has two parts. Okay, x squared plus x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0 when x is less than or equal to negative 2 or x is greater than 1. We'll go over one more. We're going to look at this one. So we want to know when is 4x squared greater than 3 minus 4x. Okay, it looks different to the other ones, but the process is still going to be the same. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is bring your 3 minus 4x across so that we have it all on one side, because then we know that we're going to get 4x squared plus 4x minus 3 is greater than 0. Okay, and then we do exactly what we've been doing. So let's have a look at that. Well, if I want to factorize that, hopefully, again, you know how to factorize this. You can use your cross method if you like. So 4x is either going to be 2x and 2x or 4x and 1. 3 is pretty simple. It's got to be 3 and 1. And we know that one of them is going to be negative. So this works for 2x times 1, 2x, and then 2x times 3 would give me 6x. So if I make that 2x minus 1, then that's where I'm going to get my solution. So factorized is 2x plus 3, 2x minus 1, is equal to 0. So therefore x must be equal to minus 3 over 2 or a half. Okay, so now we do our sketch. We know that the intercepts are at negative 3 over 2 and 1 over 2. This one is again a happy face parabola, but the process works the same if it's a sad face, if it's concave down. And we want to know when is that greater than 0. Well, again, we've got the two sections. So when x is less than negative 3 over 2 and when x is greater than a half. So that's what you need to be able to do exercise 9.2. This is another one that you're going to do as much as you need to do, guys. A lot of it is review. If you need the revision on how to do factorizing and solving quadratics, then do them all.